This lesson is Complete the Square, Part 2. Here I have an example, 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 equals 0. First step, move this 1 over, so that gives me positive 1. Since this is a negative 1, I move it over to the right side, becomes positive 1. Next, this right here where I'm circling must be a 1. Since it is a 2, take this 2, divide to all of the terms. Divide by 2 to all of the term. Again, this must be a 1. If this is a 2, divide by 2 to all of the terms. If this was a 6, divide 6 to all of the term. If this was 5, we divide 5 to all of the term. Whatever this number is, we take that number and divide it. The reason is we need this to be a 1. So one more time, since this is a 2, we divide by 2. Whatever this number is, we will take that number and divide it to all of the terms. Again, this is a 2, so divide by 2 to all of the term. Okay, so be very careful. Whatever this number is, you use that number to divide. Okay, so since this is a 2, we use this number to divide to all of the terms. So divide 2 to all of the terms. So here, here, and also here. Okay, so all of the terms. So that gives me 1. This gives me 3 over 2 and 1 over 2. Okay, so divide by 2. This gives me 1. This gives me 3 over 2. This gives me 1 over 2. Okay, so now this is a 1, so we are okay to go. This is a 1, so we can go to the next step. So the next step is take this. This is my b. So b is 3 over 2. Divide it by 2. Always divide by 2. Again, always divide by 2. And since this is a fractions divide by fractions, we will use the rule keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. So keep, change to multiply, flip the bottom, so it becomes 1 over 2. After that, we just multiply across, gives me 3 over 4. Okay, now square the 3 over 4, which is 9/16. Make sure you label that this is my key. I will need this later on when I factor. I'm going to rewrite this line down here. So bring this line down. So x squared plus 3x, x squared plus 3 over 2x. Give some space, equal 1 over 2. Give some space. The empty space, this is where you add 9/16. If you do to the left, also do to the right. Okay, this part right here, this is a perfect trinomial, so we just use 2 sets of parentheses, make 2x. Again, 2 sets of parentheses. This is x squared, so put x here, put x here. So this is a plus, so put plus here, plus here. If this right here was a negative, you would put negative, negative. Since this is a positive, we put positive, positive. This empty space, this is where we put the key in. This is the empty space, we put the key in. Our key is 3/4 here and also here. So again, this is a perfect trinomial. You will make 2 sets of parentheses, 1x, another x, 1 plus, another plus, the first key, and rewrite the second key. Okay, again, this is a plus, so you put plus, plus. If this is a minus, you put minus, minus. Okay, now the fractions, I have it over here. So left, so cross multiply to the left. So 1 times 16 is 16. Don't forget the plus. To the right, 9 times 2. So 9 times 2 gives me 18. Under multiply, which is 2 times 16. So it gives me 32. Okay, and then 16 plus 18 gives me 34 over 32. Reduce it, becomes 17 over 16. So 1 over 2 plus 9/16 is 17 over 16. Okay, now we have 2 of these, so x plus 3/4, there are 2 of these, so write it square. So that's where the square came from, because there's 1 and there's 2. Now we want to get rid of this square by square root both sides, top and bottom. Square root, square go away, so I just have x plus 3/4. And since this is even, make sure you put plus and minus. Square root 17, I cannot do it, I leave it alone. Square root 16, which is 4. bring the 3/4 over by subtract. This is a plus and this is a minus. So if I bring it over, it becomes a minus 3/4 and x is by itself. Now you can leave this as my answer because there's nothing else you can do, or you can write it out twice. One of them is a minus and the other one is a plus. Okay, so you can leave this as my answer because there's nothing you can do. You cannot go further anymore, so we just leave it alone. Or you can write it like this with a negative and the other one with a positive. Okay, so be very careful. Again, this part right here, this is the most crucial part. And make sure when you have fractions, if you have fractions, keep, change, flip. And then when you add fractions, make sure it is add correctly. Okay, and when you have two numbers, make sure square root top and square root the bottom as well. And if there's nothing you can do, just leave this part right here as my answer. Okay, so be very careful.